A short history of computers. Whether you know it or not, you depend on computers for almost everything you do in modern day life. From the second you get up in the morning to the second you go to sleep, computers are tied into what you do and use in some way. It is tied into your life in the most obvious and obscure ways. Take for example, you wake up in the morning usually to a digital alarm clock. You start your car, it uses computers the second you turn the key. General Motors is the largest buyer of computer components in the world. Pick up the phones, it uses computers. No matter how hard you try, you can get away from them. You can't. It is inevitable. Many people think of computers as new invention, and in reality, it is very old. It is about 2,000 years old. When the first computer was the abacus, this invention was constructed of wood, two wires, and beads. It was wood in the rock with the two wires strung across it horizontally and the beads were strung across the wires. This was used for normal arithmetic uses. This type of computers are considered analog computers. Another analog computer was the circular slide rule. This was invented in mechanical device made of two rules, one sliding inside the other and marked with any number scales. This slide ruler could do such calculation as division, multiplication, roots, and logarithms. Soon after came some more advanced computer. In 1642 came Blaine Pascal's computer, the baseline. It was considered to be the first automatic calculator. It consisted of gears and interlocking cogs. It was so that you enter the number with dials. It was originally made for his father, a tax collector, too. Then he went on to build 50 more of these baselines. But clerks would not use them. They did this in fear that they would lose their jobs. For soon after, there were many similar inventions. There was the Leibniz wheel that was invented by Gottfried Leibniz. It got its name because of the way it was designed, with a cylinder with step teeth. 5. This did same function of other computers of its time. Computers such as the Leibniz wheel and the baseline were not used widely until the invention made by Thomas of Color, aka Charles Xavier Thomas. 6. It was the first successful mechanical calculator that could do all the normal arithmetic function. This type of calculator was improved by many other inventors so it could do a number of many other things by 1890. The improvements were there where they could elect partial results as memory function, could store information and output information to a printer. These improvements were made for commercial uses mainly, and also required manual installation. Around 1812 in Cambridge, England, new advance in computer was made by steps that were repeated over many times. 17 years later, in 1822, he had a working model, and in 1823 he had fabrication of his invention. He had called his invention the difference engine. In 1833, he had stopped working on his difference engine because he had another idea. It was to build an analytical engine. This would have been at the first digital computer that would be full program controlled. His invention was to do all the general purposes of modern computers. This computer was to use punch cards for storage, steam power, and operated by one person. This computer was never finished for many reasons. Some of the reasons were not having precision mechanics and could solve problems not needed to be solved at the time. After baggage computers, people lost interest in this type of invention. Eventually, invention after awards would cause a demand for calculation capability that computers like baggage would capable of doing. In 1890, and a new era of business computing had evolved. This was a development in punch card used to make a step towards automated computing, which was first used in 1890 by Herman Haller. Because of this, human error was reduced dramatically. 11. Punch cards could hold 80 characters per card, and the machines could process about 15 to 220 cards in a minute. This idea that he had was not bought by many people. 22. One believed that without this idea, upgradable computers would never have been designed. Today, everything has a microprocessor built into it. 23. The microcomputer was changed forever in 1976 when Steve Jobs and Steve Wozer had sold a Volkswagen and a calculator for $1,300 to build the first Apple. 24. The work that did was in their garage. They had founded their company in 1983 and had successfully made a Fortune 500 list. 5. 2 years before Apple was founded, IBM had announced the release of the IBM PC. From the 1980 on, there was a large demand for microcomputers such as the IBM PC, and Apple not only in industry but in the homes of many people. Many other computers appeared during the as some were the Commodore, Dandy, Atari, and game system such as Nintendo and many others. There was also a large demand for computer games for the home PC. Because of these many demands, many companies were getting very competitive. They were pushing for the faster, better computer. By the late as because of this demand, microprocessors could handle 32 bits of data at the time, pushing over 4 million instructions processed a second. 7. It seems as if over time computers have evolved in totally different machines, but if you put into perspective, they are also much alike. But on the other hand, with almost every business and many families today are in demand of better and newer computer, it seems that if you buy a new computer today, industry had made it obsolete before you eat. This is probably because the better you make a computer and quicker it can do calculation, the quicker it can help you in design a new computer that is even faster. It is a domino effect that started back 2,000 years ago and will probably never end.